Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope you guys are having an amazing day so far. I hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, man. I'm doing well. Can they hear
Excellent.
us in the chat room?
Yeah, just want to do a quick sound check, guys, both in YouTube and in the chat room as well.
Now I think they can.
Okay, good morning, guys. All right, perfect. All right, guys, excellent. Thank you so much for that. Again, we're trying some new audio to try to prevent some of the issues we had in the last couple of days. So keep us posted if something doesn't sound good or whatever the case may be. All right, guys, so let's take a quick look at this gappers list, what we have going on here. So quite a bit of a mixed group here. We got a few things over in our gapping up list and some in our gapping down. Some new names coming up here, but some of the old stuff that's been here for a couple of days as usual. We have MU, which I'm looking forward to seeing that one after some great action last night after
For
earnings.
sure.
Again, trading very nice, up 5.8 this morning. So looking forward to having that on my list. We have not traded this one in some time. And then we have some stuff here gapping down. I see a couple of foreign stocks in here, so we'll skip on those. But for the most part, a very decent list this morning.
I feel like I
Norm,
should go take a nap, man. This list is um, going to be easy to breeze through, especially after you take out the foreign names.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of foreign names. There's some ones here that we know don't trade as well. For example, Plug. Yeah, it's been active, but it's not typically a stock that I like to see on here. And we see some other stocks that trade more like low flow stocks. Carve is another one that's been very active. Again, not all that exciting for our style of trade, but for the most part, let's see if these things can get a little bit better. Let's get into the SPY. Norm, we're pretty much flat at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're pretty much flat. This is the last day of the best second quarter in a very long time after the worst first quarter in a very long time, over 10 years. So, um, it's interesting to see the market sitting here. I was a little surprised to see the strength we had yesterday. We're above that 200-day moving average, so we'll see how it plays out. A lot of the worst case scenario stuff people feared, even rebalancing by funds and pensions, has not dragged us down, at least not much overall. It looks like that rebalancing from equities into bonds might have taken place, uh, a week or so ago when we really had that down week. Anyway, the sectors are pretty much flat to mixed. Technology's up. Of course, we'll get into MU in a minute. They had earnings last night. Energy's down. A lot of the other stuff is just relatively flat. Specifically, semiconductors are up really the most, with the stocks up about 1.1% this morning on that MU news. So should be a good day. Home price index comes out at 9. Chicago PMI 945. Consumer confidence 10 a.m. That's a big number to keep an eye on. Fed speaker at 11, and then at noon, Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin will be testifying about response to COVID. So keep that on your radar throughout the day.
All right, thank you, Norm. Appreciate that. All right, guys, let's get to this gappers list, see what we can find here that's actually trading somewhat decent, that it will be worth watching this morning. Let's take a look at the first. Let's go over what's gapping up this morning. We have Carve here. This one is up quite a bit, 60% right now. Again, a former runner. We've seen a gap up before, do some crazy stuff, heading from basically $2 to 24 and then back down. So very wild stock, definitely in play today. Look at it move right now. Just went from 850 to 1050 here. So again, just a very aggressive stock, very active right now. But it's a low flow stock sitting at 3.7. So you want to be extra careful with this one, guys. This one can really move on you. Norm, any specific news, or is this thing just being just pushed up by technicals and volume?
Frankly, I did not get in a carve. This is one of the ones with UONE that have been playing on people buying up shares in black-owned companies, specifically these small caps. We've just seen these monster changes. So 80% gap up on a 3.7 million share float. I'm going to keep a distance from that, especially since I don't see any news on it.
Got it. Yeah, that no news on this is scary, guys. Again, it looks great right now to be able to catch a move here, but timing, if you get caught in one of these drops, is definitely going to hurt. Let's take a look at WKHS. This one has been on our list quite a bit. It continues to rip higher. Again, this stock was trading before, just hanging around $3. Has been ripping nicely here, up at 16.21. This morning they're up 11.7 right now with some decent volume, 3.6 million shares traded. Now I have been staying away from this one. It's just not my style of trading, but I know a lot of people have been watching it and taking some good opportunities on it. So we'll put it on here. We'll do some levels for it and see if we can just be prepared in case something good comes out of this one today. But for the most part, is a stock that again, not really as some people say, my cup of tea when it comes to trading. Next we have BE on here. This looks not great. Looks like an energy stock. Yep, it's just, again, horrible daily, guys. Not a great pre-market activity. The volume is also pretty bad here, as you can see, so I'm going to stay away from this one. Here we have MU, which is one that will definitely be on my list. Obviously earnings last night, guys, right after the close. Look at this beautiful pop. They had some good numbers, Norma, I assume.
Yep, they beat their top line, I believe, by 5 cents. I think their earnings off the top of my head were 82 cents versus 77. They beat on revenues as well, and their guidance was positive going for the rest of the year. Talking about the trends of the work at home trend is giving a boost to their data center business, amongst
Got
other
it.
things.
Gotcha. So again, looking pretty good right now, guys. Their daily has been really all over the place, but I like this pop here. We're up 5.6 with some decent volume this morning. Pre-market action, not all that great for the pop that we have here. So we'll see if that can get a little bit better as we move forward. Here's Uber, guys. This stock I do like. When it is in play, it does trade very well. It is up 3.5 right now, 233,000 for the most part. Bouncing off a nice technical level here. If you look at this previous day close line and the low from yesterday as well, you can see that's a great area of resistance. We were watching this a couple of months back, guys, when it was sitting here trying to break out of this level, and it did that nicely. We're now retesting that. We tested it yesterday to the T, and now we're up a bit here at 3.5. Norm,
Yeah.
SPY is flat. Any specific news on Uber this morning?
Absolutely, man. You remember a few weeks ago when the stock was flying, they were in talks to buy Grubhub. That fell through. So they now are in talks to acquire Postmates. Consolidation in the industry, people think they might be able to raise prices and actually become profitable.
Got it. Now, Postmate, what kind of company is that? Is that a delivery service
Yeah,
for
yeah,
food? Okay,
exactly.
all right. Never
Yep.
heard of them in this area, but cool. Um,
Yeah, I think it's more popular on the West Coast. I know I've got some friends in LA that have used it for a long time. They deliver not only food, I believe, but
mhm.
they'll go to the store for you, or 7-Eleven, or booze, or whatever, from my understanding.
That works for me. All right,
I'll
excellent. Let's
send you
take it.
some.
Yeah. Let's look at a plug, guys. This one, Uber. Oh, let's add Uber here. Definitely on our list, guys. Looks very good right now. Good volume. Again, great pre-market action, and the daily looks amazing on this one. And we know he trades well, so definitely want to keep an eye on this one. Here we have Plug. So Plug right now, guys. Again, this stock has been actually trading pretty decent. Had a good day yesterday. As you can hear, nice pop. Let's see how it actually traded. It happened all in the morning here. Had an okay pre-market activity, and it just took off here, and then for the most part, just held this move. So right now we're up 3.4, so it's looking like it's very strong this morning. Their daily, though, I gotta say, their daily looks very good. This is a very good daily chart, which usually we don't get from Plug, right? It's one of these stocks that doesn't trade all that well. Again, they are not a low flow stock. They're 320 million shares, but they tend to be very choppy. The reason why I kind of stay away from it. Now, Norm, aside from it not being one of the stocks that we watch often, is there any news that's creating some of this movement on Plug?
I'm not seeing anything fresh this morning, man.
Okay, well, we'll throw it on here, guys. I know this is a hot one for a lot of people that they like to watch this one. And again, look at the pre-market; it doesn't look all that bad. Maybe after breaking out of this low prices, heading over to the $8, $10 mark, maybe it can trade a little cleaner. Sometimes stocks do that. So let's see if that's going to be the case for Plug today. NVAX, another one that has also been having a great daily here, ripping up nicely. Their pre-market action is looking decent. For the most part, this stock is one that I have not traded. It just seems to be a little bit difficult to read the price action. But looking at it yesterday, I didn't have it on watch. Look at the the movement here yesterday. A little bit choppy at the start, but once it settled in after half hour or so, look at this beautiful trend play here, breaking the high of the pre-market, high of the day, and continuing higher. So it did trade very nice into the open. Worth keeping an eye on, guys. We do got some good levels on it. Again, not one of my favorites, but we'll definitely throw it on here and see what we can get at a NVAX.
They got an analyst upgrade, it appears, and I don't know out of what firm because the article I'm reading doesn't say that. But that's what's going on.
Excellent. All right, so let's go down to what's gapping down this morning. INO is on here, guys, taking a bit of a hit today, down 10%, 4.8 million shares traded. So INO is getting into a very interesting situation. It's been up and down here, up and down. Yesterday was just amazing. I definitely misplayed this stock yesterday. Let's look at how the open was. Again, very active pre-market action, and we had a beautiful level here that this stock kept holding. And I went long somewhere in this area here, knowing my stop would be here. Once it got here, I got out of the trade. I took this twice. I got out of the trade for no apparent reason. I should have known this was the level to hold, and then a few minutes after, you get this beautiful move. So you had several moves on here. You had Norm, I think you had one early on in this area here. So you took it for a long, and then it turned out nice.
Yep.
And then after, give you another opportunity, a beautiful breakout here on INO. So again, some pretty good opportunities being formed here. The key on this type of stock, guys, is to be able to take a very small number of shares so you can hold to some of these pullbacks, right? For example, here I held easily through a 50 cents pullback because my number of shares, right? You don't have to take if you have a 2,000 shares, holding through a 50 cents pullback is not ideal, right? So again, just be careful. All right, so looking pretty active this morning, guys. Right now they are down quite a bit. Their pre-market action.
Which one are you?
I'm sorry?
Just something interesting about INO, man, and by no means is this a strategy, and I'm not recommending or saying this is going to happen. It's been the last like 4 days, this thing, after this massive move, this stock, you've been able to set a watch by it. It falls like this, it falls at the open, and then it just is taken back off right back up to 30, 31, 32.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We've seen that. We saw that yesterday quite a bit. We saw even more on the day before. This was Friday, I believe, right? The day before trading last week. Look at this beautiful drop here, and just look at the comeback. I mean, just insane. So we'll see what it does today. It continues to hold this 28 level and 27. You can clearly see how much support we have on here. This day was actually on Friday when it really dropped down all the way to this level here. So again, we'll see what it does today.
And what's weird here, and another thing to note on this. So the news on it this morning, they released some data on a clinical trial that they had. And apparently they've essentially shown that their vaccine is safe, and it seems that it might work fairly well. So they let that info out. It's like buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing, I guess. But unless I'm just completely reading what I've seen wrong, it seems like it's positive. So who knows? Maybe it does it again.
Let's see, man. Again, it's consolidating here, guys, after a huge move. I don't think this is done giving us some good activity and action on it. So let's keep an eye on it. We have another one popping up above INO. It's going to be LQDA. So LQDH is coming up here in our gappers list, down 24%, 109,000 shares traded. A little bit on the lower side, sitting at 25 million shares float for the most part. We have a nice big drop here. Volume starting to come in. Worth looking at, guys. I mean, I do like this drop here. I'm not sure what's causing it. What I do see automatic off the bat here is that for the most part, they have very light volume, usually under 1 million shares. Even on this big day here where they had the most volume, it was only 1.2. On their big days when they move, even this is scary here because you look at this, you have 333,000 shares, and look at the move here, right? So that's usually very scary. That means with low volume, we can move that much. It's not usually ideal for our type of trading. But today could be the difference maker. We definitely got something going on here. I'm going to throw it down here next to Carve just because we want to be a little bit
Looks like it's a secondary offering.
You're killing my mood, Norm. But yes, that's not really good news when it comes to secondary offering. So might not make our list there. All right. Thanks for that. VXRT, this one here is active, guys. One that also has been very active over the last couple of days, gapping up and selling down the last 2 days. So every time we had a nice big gap up here, the one day on Friday we did shoot up and then came back down. Yesterday we shot up again and then sold off for the entire day. So beautiful sell-off here, guys. I didn't have it on my watch, but again, an amazing short here if you're able to get units for sure on this one stock. So what I like about it on the daily, guys, possible continuation towards the bottom here, right? We've been losing. This has not been able to hold any levels. Every gap up has been sold down. Not saying that that's the case. It's going to sell down today, but it's a likely possibility that this can continue on this momentum. So I do like what I'm seeing there on VXRT. So I will add this today and see what we can find off some levels. SHLL, guys, this one, as we know, has been really all over the place. Don't really like the way this one trades. I watched it yesterday. Again, it can be very choppy. Look at the open. This great pop here comes right back down, and you think it engulfs the previous candle here, but doesn't do much towards the bottom. No continuation, finds supports and just heads higher. But again, the price action on this one is not great. The daily overall looks amazing. You have a beautiful daily here. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a great stock for being able to do some scalps. So if you're a scalp type of trader, which is not a bad strategy to do, this could be that type of stock. You got to be in and out quickly. You don't want to hold through pullbacks. You don't want to hold too long. If the move, even if you're at break even, you don't want to hold the stock too long if it doesn't do the move right away, right? Because it can have really a jerky reaction. So for the most part, looking decent, guys. 408,000. It is down 5.3. Norm, what was the original news on this stock? I know it's a shell company. What was the original
It's a shell
news on it?
company for a reverse merger taking over an EV company, electrical vehicle company. So I don't see anything fresh as of this morning. I think it's just getting a pullback because of its massive move it's made the last few days.
Gotcha. All right. So with that said, guys, again, we can throw it as a possible just because I know other people are watching it. I won't be watching it, but I'll do some levels for it just in case you're going to be keeping an eye on this one. SPR usually doesn't trade very well, guys, for the most part. Let's take a look at yesterday, how it did. Actually, yesterday traded amazing. Bad pre-market action, but yesterday did trade very well. I did not watch this. Not sure what's the deal is with this stock, guys. What's the news behind it? Why we had such a big pop yesterday?
This is a major supplier for Boeing. And they build fuselages and wings and plane parts and all kinds of stuff like that. So they're trading as a Boeing sympathy play for the most part. Boeing's getting hit this morning because news of, I believe it was Norwegian Air, canceled orders for 90 some odd, 94, 96, 737 Maxes that they had. And they're also looking for compensation for the grounding of the Max and engine issues on the 787.
Got it. So again, I didn't watch it yesterday, but looking at this, man, this definitely in play. Yes, and this would be yesterday. So possible continuation play today, maybe. Again, the pre-market is not looking all that great. So let's just put it down here. We can look at some levels on this one. All right, let's take a look at. So here's BA. BA is also down 2.7 this morning. Did trade well yesterday. Had a beautiful pop there towards the end. Right now we have a good pre-market action. It's been very active over the last couple of days. We have 919,000 shares traded. We are down 2.7. I think BA is worth watching this morning. Probably one of the best looking stocks in the pre-market this morning. MT is a foreign stock, so we'll skip on this one. Let's look at RE. LX, this one's also looking horrible. No volume here, guys. Got a huge block trade here, about 70,000. So again, not much going on this one. And even if we did, look at this daily. It's really all over the place, really choppy. Doesn't trade much volume. Normally under 1.7 million shares traded here. So we'll skip on this one. CUK making the list. Weird that CCL is not.
That's why it looks so strange.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Here's CCL, guys. I'm going to look at that one because CUK is usually not one that trades the best. CCL is going to have the more volume. They're not down 2% at the moment. CUK is. That's what's showing up on our scanners. But for the most part, I'm not seeing anything all that great right now on the CCL at the moment. So we're just going to skip on this one. We can. The airlines and cruise lines lately have been a little bit quiet for the most part. And I say quiet, what we're used to seeing, right? Usually by this time we have have 800,000 shares, 1.5 million shares. We're not seeing that lately. Again, so I'm not sure what to expect on this one. Let's take a look at some of the airlines. Also seem pretty flat this morning. United, low on volume, not much going on there. Delta, very flat as well. So again, just consolidating for the most part, not giving us anything all that great. Norm, what do you like this morning on your end so far?
Lulu looks interesting. Not the greatest pre-market, but that's not the greatest pre-market, but that's kind of typical for them. They've been in kind of a down channel. They've broken north of that on news of an acquisition of Mirror, the workout Mirror, for $500 million. So that might trade well today. I'll keep an eye on semis like AMD, MU that we've already talked about or looked at. Nvidia possibly. So
yeah, definitely. I will be keeping an eye on MU for sure, Nvidia and AMD as well, because those stock can move well today depending on how things go. So I'll add in AMD, I'll add Nvidia, even if I keep them as a possible. I'm with you on those as well. All right, guys, let's take a look at what you guys are watching in the chat. Yeah, go ahead.
One question we got here on YouTube, and let me jump into that real quick. So I mentioned SPR being a sympathy play on BA. And somebody asked what a sympathy play is. Sympathy play is two companies that are very similar businesses or associated businesses in this particular case, and let's just take pot stocks because it was a big deal when they were trading a ton, a year and a half or whatever ago. You'd get CGC that would announce something good, and it would, and then you'd have other players. When Constellation announced that they were going to put a big investment into CGC, CGC obviously went up because of it. But then you had other pot stocks buoyed up and pushed up on the same news. So they didn't have any news to themselves. It was just a sympathy play moving alongside the one that did.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like we've seen with the airlines recently as well, right? If when American Airlines had bad news, they were the ones with the real issue. But you saw United and Delta also kind of take a bit of a hit. Not as big, but that's what we mean by that. So thank you for clearing that up, Norm. All right, guys, let's start over here. I saw stock operator with LUV. Let's start with him. So LUV this morning, this one is up slightly. Again, pretty much flat right now. Was up at least 2% looks like here. But again, back down towards that previous day close line. It's got some decent volume. The daily looks a little bit cleaner than some of these other airlines. A lot of the airlines are just kind of stuck in a consolidation. This one seems to be breaking out. Had a breakout day yesterday. So not sure what the difference was. If you look at Delta, United, they all look like this where they're consolidating. LUV is the only one that seems to have a little bit of a breakout here. Not sure what's might be causing that. But again, for the most part, I think these airlines are pretty flat for today, what we're used to seeing. So I'm going to put on the side for a bit. American Airlines is the next one here. Someone's bringing that one to our attention. AAL. This one here, also great volume, 935.
They got an upgrade out of Goldman yesterday. Love did, but
yeah,
that was yesterday, and I don't know why it would be doing it to it today. So
on American Airlines,
on Love.
On Love. Oh,
South
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense why they got this pop, but again, yeah, doesn't make sense why they're dropping now. So again, their pre-market guys looks active. You want to keep this on, you can. Looks very clean actually compared to everything else. I'm gonna look for this to hit our scanners. If it does, that'll be the way I'll look at this one. On American Airlines, we got great volume, 935, and we're dropping here. So maybe things can get better for the airlines. This is dropping pretty nice here. But again, we're just kind of stuck with this consolidation area for the most part. So good volume on them for the most part right now. I can add this as a possible. This will probably be one of the airlines that you can watch. It has some good volume at the moment, and it's dropping nicely, going from green to red, right? So green here was up, and now it's down about 1%. So let's head down over to Nvidia. We do have that on the list, guys. So Nvidia is right on here. Not doing much right now, which is expected. Not great volume, but we'll see how these stocks are going to react today, especially with MU leading the way with some news behind it. CAG, let's take a look at this one. This one right now, pre-market action is pretty light. I love the gap up 3% here, and we're slightly above or right on this great area of resistance that we have not been able to break out of for quite some time. We tested it here. We did have a small pop above it as well here and also here, but for the most part, this area overall has been some good resistance for this stock. So, but right now, guys, this pre-market action is not one that I will keep on deck for the most part. Only 48,000 is pretty light. BL,
They had earnings this morning. CAG did. They beat top
yeah.
and bottom line. The one thing about it, though, is it is a NYSE stock. It doesn't always move great. So depending on how the rest of the list shakes out, this is one of those borderlines that I may keep an eye on it or not.
Yeah, yeah. All right, excellent. BLNK here, guys. This one, it is up quite a bit, 53%. This is Blink charging. What is the float on Blink charging? Let's bring trade ideas over and see what's going on here. BLNK. I've seen this one being thrown out on both chats, 19.6. So just borderline low flow here. Again, usually anything on the 20 we consider low flow stock. Also, for the most part, this thing has been trading under $5. So not typically a stock that we normally keep on watch here. Great pre-market actions, guys. Very active right now. I do not have shares for short. And again, I'm just not sure how much juice we have left in here. So I'm not a whole big fan of it. I'll put it down next to LQDA and Carve. That's the kind of stock this is, BLNK. We'll throw it on there. We'll come back to see what we can get, if we can get any type of good action out of it. Right now, it's just kind of stalling sideways. Looks like it just wants to come back down. So be careful if you're trading this pre-market this morning. WKHS for the most part. Again, we have this one on deck here, looking pretty decent right now. Great trading on it yesterday. Let's look at SPCE. From OTC is giving us this one right now. SPCE, it has been just again, the daily is just so choppy on it. Let's see what it's been doing. So drop here on Monday. Let's see how it did Friday. Again, it's trading somewhat decent. Looking at the action now after the fact, not knowing how it actually traded, it's hard to tell. But I have not been keeping this on watch the last couple of days for me personally. So right now, volume is a little bit lighter, only 70K. Doesn't mean much because we've seen the pre-market action here. Looks like you did not get a whole lot of volume, and you still got some good plays out of it. So could be a possible opportunity on this one. But again, I just not seeing anything great right now. Let's head down over to who else do we have here, guys? Okay, quite a bit. All right, I think we're good on our chat. Let's go over to YouTube, see what you guys have this morning. Let's see what we got here. So can you explain why is it BLNK and BLNKW? So it's probably a different share class.
BLNKW, same company, but those are warrants. The one without the W is the common stock. So if I'm trading that, I would just stick to that.
Yeah, yep. All right, let's take a look, guys. I see somebody throwing out CODX. I have not seen that one in some time. This one, if you guys recall, back in May, had a huge pop over here going from 19, 17 all the way up to 25 and then 30. So again, it's just been very active. But before that, if you guys remember back in February, so we had this huge breakout going from 5 all the way to 20. Now, I'm not seeing anything great right now on CODX for the most part. Let's get it over here on the 5-minute chart. Here we go. So again, not seeing anything great, guys. Very light on the volume. So this is the type of stock you want to see a very, very good pre-market activity if you're going to trade this. So right now, I will just stay away from this one. All right, Lulu. Yes, we did have Lulu, right? Yeah, we put Lulu on here because they do have a pop. They don't get a whole lot of volume, but it's a great trading stock when it is in place. So they don't get a whole lot of volume in the pre-market, but they do have a beautiful pop this morning worth watching. So Lulu's on there. ODP, let's take a look at that one, and that'll be the last one. Oh man, this is halted already. I don't even know how to read this chart. I mean, it gapped up to 3%. We're gonna skip this guy. Sorry, I just what's going on here?
It's Office Depot.
Oh, is this what this is? Wow.
Yeah, it's a penny stock. I don't quite know what they've got a reverse stock split. Coming up or something. Yeah, so it's garbage.
Yeah, you don't want to be involved in this, guys, at all. There's going to be no possible trading plan that you're going to be able to have your strategy, right? Whatever you think is you're getting here, you're probably not going to get. So just stay away from this. Look at the volume as well, 1.3, and it's halted now. Just skip this completely. Let's do one more, guys. BSGM. We'll do that one. Kevin is giving us that one here on YouTube. BSGM, no volume, guys. So again, pretty light. Only 1,200 shares literally traded this morning. So nothing going on there. Again, who knows what's going on with this stock, but not anything we want to watch this morning. And Carve, we do have, guys. I see people in our chat throwing that out. Carve, CARV. Yeah, this thing is ripping.
It's friend UONE. It's friend UONE hopped on here too. I see.
Which one? Oh,
UONE.
we'll go to that one next. But yeah, Carve, guys, this thing is on fire right now. We have some levels here that we have tested in the past. 1750. Look out for that. We're coming up on it now, and also 2302. So again, this thing is really on fire today. UONE. This is the one that you got to be very careful. It looks like a beautiful possible breakout here above this high from 2 days ago. This would have been Friday's trading day. And we're getting some good volume here. So I'm going to add this one. I think out of all the ones down here, I'm going to get rid of Blink. I'm going to get rid of LQDA. I think the two that are in really good activity right now is Carve and U1. But again, I seen some really good trades on U1. But again, just be mindful that
a lot of the million share float.
Yeah, a lot of people trading that are really experts. They've been doing this for years. They know what they're doing with this type of stock. If you're just starting out, this is one you want to avoid. You Carve, another one you want to avoid, just until you get a little bit more experience on the way these stocks move, especially with this type of float. It's just a dangerous flow. Starting out, we recommend people stay away from anything under 20 million shares float because they move very aggressive. All right, guys, let's go over to announcements. We'll come back and do some levels when we're done with that.
All right, guys, it is Tuesday. So tomorrow night, you've got Eamon's reversal webinar, success webinar, how to catch a falling knife. Eamon is the in-house reversal master. He's got all kinds of different styles. He'll be discussing that tomorrow night. Note the special time. It is wrong on this sheet, and my mistake for not updating it. It's at 5 o'clock Eastern in the webinar room. The next week, attention, all the traders over 50. As we discussed the other day near the close show with Peter, there are some physiological changes that take place in your life as you get older in your brain. Dr. Kenneth Reed is going to be discussing some supplements and other things to make you, to help you feel better. That one will be a week from tomorrow in the webinar room. I believe that one's at 5 p.m. Eastern as well, since he is in the UK. Tonight at 8 p.m. in the webinar room is Mike's Module 6, Importance of a Healthy Lifestyle. Tune in there. He'll be on camera doing push-ups for a solid hour. If you are watching us on YouTube and haven't been in the chat, you can do so at a discount. Instead of the normal week at $39, you can get it for $24, 7 calendar days, 5 trading days. Note that Friday's a holiday this week. So obviously we won't have the chat room open then, but you also get Monday's onboarding class. Use the promo code premarket24 for that. And if you're either looking to upgrade your membership to a lifetime membership or would you like to start out as a lifetime member, use the promo code Independence40. That's Independence40. And you'll get 40% off the lifetime single payment option. For all of you that are fans of podcasts, search Talk with Traders on your favorite podcast platform, and you should be able to find our new podcast, the Bear Bull Traders podcast. We've had some great ones, great podcasts come out recently, and I know Peter's working on new content consistently with that. Market Close Show, Monday through Thursday, 3:30 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern. Mike, Peter, and Brian. I was not there, but I bet they had fun watching MU earnings last night. 2 other things of note, guys, that don't have slides. We sponsor the Dash Trader One Best Trader competition. Starts on Monday, runs throughout July. You can sign up today, get simulator. If you use the promo code BBT25, BBT25, you'll get $50 off the enrollment. So nice deal on there. You get to take part in the competition. They've got an awesome They've really got an awesome website that shows how people are doing and the stats and everything like that. And then the one other thing, and I'm trying to remember. I guess I need the supplements again, man.
We'll
I need
both
the
be on that
supplements. I'm
class.
not 50. I've just put
Like
in more
someone
than 50 years in my short life, I guess.
like someone
So
said
anyway,
earlier,
that's
some
all I
days
got for today.
they feel over 50, so it could be the case. All right, guys, thanks, Norm. Appreciate that. All right, let's fine tune this list here. Let's start with WKHS. Again, guys, this one's very active. I haven't been watching it, but looking at the daily chart looks great. Yesterday had a great day. The day before that, beautiful breakout as well. This would have been on Friday or all last week, just trading pretty nice. So let's keep an eye on it. We'll do levels for that. MU definitely on our list this morning. They had earnings dropping down here a bit, as high as 52.40 so far, back down to 52 for the most part. We'll see if we can get going on this one. Here's Uber, also up nicely, so I like the way that's trading this morning. Also has some news behind it. Plug giving some back as well at the moment, very active. So again, they got a nice pre-market action. Not one of my favorite stocks to watch, but their pre-market action is looking pretty decent this morning with 828,000. And VAX, I'm probably gonna drop this one off. Because so far on WKHS, MU, Uber, Plug, I love the way those look right now. I'm definitely keeping those. So look, just making, trying to keep the best ones that we have here. NAVX doesn't look as great as the ones that we just went through. I know you definitely want to keep on here, guys, dropping down again with some really good volume. As we mentioned, we've seen this thing drop every morning and then take off. Not saying that's going to happen today, but hopefully you can provide us that type of opportunity again. VXRT is great possible towards the bottom. Let's remove NVAX here. Great possible if it can keep dropping here. Looks like it wants to come back down to this area. So I do like that one. SPR, I'm going to remove, guys. Has done some great trading. Yesterday did amazing. For the most part, the pre-market right now is a little bit quiet. Might be great for a possible. So I'm going to move this down. Even our possibles list might need to get fine-tuned a little more as well. And we might have to hold some of these stocks on the sidelines to kind of hit our scanners. So VXRT, we'll keep an eye on this one. Losing it here. Hopefully it doesn't get too extended for us. BA, very active as well. AMD. You know what? I might not have room for AMD. I'll just keep an eye on MU this morning. AMD will have to sit back a bit here. Lulu as well is one that could be a sleeper here. Not doing much right now, but it does have news behind it, and it could get going after the open. So let's take a look at our possibles just to make sure we are good here. SHLL continues to drop here. Again, another one that might be a little bit extended on the daily. Might want to come back down and test this 28 and 26 level. So I like that one. Nvidia, I'm going to remove just because I need a little more space here. American Airlines, I'm going to watch. That'll be the only airline I'm going to have here on my possible list. And then for the low flow team, we have CARV and U1, both very, very active. U1 kind of giving some back a little bit here. This one is very dangerous, by the way. This is 900,000 shares of float. So I'm going to remove this one. Carve, I think, is the one that's really in play today. Has some really good action this morning and some very decent volume, up 170%. All right, so let's start with the top, WKHS. Let's look at the high of the pre-market sitting at 1776. So we'll mark that down. Towards the bottom, you got your highs from the last two trading. This is your high from yesterday. Your highs and lows from Fridays. Pretty much got you covered here, guys. We do have 1256. I wonder where we're getting that. Must be some pre-market level here. Yes, so the pre-market level looks like between yesterday we had this beautiful high in the pre-market here. Look how well that pre-market traded. The minute you got above that yesterday, it just shot right up, never came back and actually tested it, kept going higher, and then later on in the day comes right back down, and guess where it stops? Right at that pre-market high that we have from the morning at 1256. So we'll keep that level on there, guys, but for the most part you pretty much cover when it comes to level on WKHS. Here's MU. Let's do some levels for this one. High of the pre-market, which seems to be somewhat struggling with this level at 52.36. So we tested that several times. Even last night, that was the area where you found some resistance. After hours, after the earnings, you had the huge pop. You came right to that. You did poke your head slightly above that, but for the most part, you had a lot of struggles getting above that in after hours. This morning already, we have tested it at least twice right on here. So this 52.36, something you want to have on your list. Slightly above that, the next best level we have is going to be right up here, 53.33, and then clearly 54.51. Now towards the bottom, pre-market low is a nice level, 51.31. Look how great that resistance is across a couple of days here, opening and closing right around that area. Some of them not even getting above that 51.31. So that's your pre-market low this morning. And then towards the bottom, if you were to lose it here, you do have another great level right at 50. Plenty of days bouncing off of that price target there. All right, so that is MU, guys. Let's see what we get going here. We have a good pre-market action right now. Volume is starting to come in. We're getting a beautiful range between 52.36 and the low of the pre-market. We'll see if we can break out one way or the other and get some good opportunities on it. Here's Uber. Uber also has a great pre-market action, guys. 337. It is a nicey stock, so when you see a nicey stock having that type of volume, it's usually pretty good for it to do that. Usually they tend not to have the best volume pre-market wise. 31.25 high of your pre-market towards the bottom. Your low of your pre-market stuck between the highs and lows of the last two trading days, slightly above yesterday's high. So not going to mark the pre-market low. I think yesterday's high and the previous day close are going to be more important levels to have on your list. Above that, we do have an amazing level here, guys, at around 32.62. You can see the resistance happening here, then becomes support, and then more resistance around that level. But you also want to look out for 32, right? 32 is going to be an area. This is a whole dollar number is quite a bit away from the 31.25. I expect if you get to 32, you're gonna have some type of loss of momentum or even change in direction. So I'm going to mark that down there as a minor level, but your major level is going to be this 32.62. Here is Plug, guys. So this one has a great pre-market action. Let's remove some of these levels we have here. High of the pre-market all the way up to 860. Found some great rejection there. Since then has been selling down. It looks like towards this previous day close. Where we at right now at 810. We have tested this before. Let's see if we can hold here. We do got a bunch of bids coming in here, so usually an indication that the price wants to drop lower. And then the next level is going to be the previous day close, and it's slightly below that. You're going to have 782, and then your highs and lows from the last two trading days. So again, dropping nicely here. We'll see if this can continue. Unplug. Here's an INO, guys. So INO just giving some back here, down 12%. This stock is still strong, so be careful. Although it's dropping down here, we've seen this quite a bit over and over again. And every time it drops down, it finds a way to go green, right? Even on this day here, where again it was a red day. Look at the drop though. It went down to 24 bucks and shot right back up. A dollar or two away from where it opened up. So that's a very strong move on this stock. So we're kind of getting some of that today. Let's see if it's going to hold here or if we're going to lose. As far as levels, highs and lows got you covered. And what I mean by that is that the highs and lows are already on here for you. You got some good levels around the price action. You do not need to go in here adding more levels and making this thing a little bit more complicated. We do have 2806 here, and I'm going to assume that's probably the level that it held yesterday at the open. So at the open, it was a pre-market low, but as well, you can see how many times we tested this consolidation here before the breakout. So even this morning already in the pre-market, we've tested at 2806. So I'm going to keep that on here. I think that's going to be an important level for INO if it can come back up to that area. VXRT, the pre-market is okay on this one. Possible continuation, guys, if we can get going towards the bottom here, right? It's got some momentum. The sellers are definitely somewhat in control right now. You can see every time it gaps up has sold down pretty bad. So again, not sure how much strength it has here to bounce off this 680, but we'll have to wait and see, right? So that's a good level there. And then below that, you do have this date over here around 628, and then all the way towards the bottom at 364. So again, this will be a possible, guys. I'm not a huge fan of it right now. I think we have some really good looking stocks towards the top. So I'm going to bring this VXRT down below SHL for the most part and remove it from our main list here. Next we have BA, guys. Beautiful pre-market activity. Let's hope it continues to trade into the open with that type of pre-market action. Pre-market high sitting at 193.40, slightly below the previous day close and the high from yesterday, and then towards the bottom the pre-market low sitting at 185, all the way down here 185. What are we looking at? 185.30. So right in this area, right? Oops, I'm hitting the wrong hotkey. There we go. 185.53. Then towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last two trading days. But again, just an amazing pre-market action right now. Some really good volume on BA. Here's Lulu, guys, a possible one. If I'm going to be looking out for this one in our scanners right now, high of the pre-market 308.39, and towards the bottom 307.57 as your pre-market low. Towards the bottom, plenty of support here, guys. You got all the moving averages, the previous day close, the highs and lows from the last two trading days. So plenty of support in this area. If we break out towards the top, we're kind of midpoint right now between the highs and lows. We're sitting right at the middle of that price range. If you look towards the top, you do have a great level at 313.35, and then an amazing level here at 32. I'm sorry, 323.78. So that is Lulu for us. I'm going to have it as a possible. I will be looking for the turbo breakup scanner, especially on that one. SPR dropping down a bit here, guys. High of the pre-market sitting right at the previous day close and the high from yesterday. We seem to have a good level here that we've been somewhat testing at around 25 bucks flat, 24.98 to be exact. But if you look towards the bottom, that's a good area to have good support there. And then you have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days between 24 and 22 looks like. So that's a okay one, guys. Again, not a huge fan of it, but it can put in a possible continuation towards the bottom here, depending how it trades this morning at the open. Here's American Airlines, one of the possible airlines that we have. Again, the airlines are pretty quiet right now, but this one seems to have some really good volume. It is about to be hit our gapper scanners here. It is down almost 2% for the most part. The pre-market right now is 1302, pre-market low. We're getting a small bounce from that. And we're stuck between this range over the last couple of days, the last 3 trading days, right? 1334 is the high of this range, and the bottom is around 12 bucks. So again, nice range here. We're at the top of it. If this thing doesn't get too extended, it could be a nice one to head down towards that 12 area, and then finally find some support in there. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one, guys, just to see if we can get some kind of momentum towards the bottom there. SHLL giving some back this morning, was green very, very early on. Right now we're down 7.5. We do have this 28.89 level, which we try to hold for a bit here, and are losing it now for the last couple of minutes. So you still want to keep this level here. Your new pre-market low is going to be 28.50. So let's mark that down. But for the most part, this is a great level because we try to hold this for so long and finally gave up on it. So aside from that, you do have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days taking care of you here around the price action. And then VXRT, we spoke about already. We did some levels there, but I did move this down to a possible down here. CARV just continues to rip, guys. So it did not get to 1750, so I'm going to bring this slightly down over here to 1710. That's a pre-market high right now. Let's see if we can go back and retest. But this one, it is trading very, very nice. Towards the bottom, low of the pre-market, 1486. Below that, you do have 1232. You have several days opening and closing right on this level, this price target. Then below that, this 1053 must be a pre-market high somewhere that we had here, but I'm going to update that now and bring it over to 10 bucks. You also have another level at 1129, just in case this thing takes a dive. I don't see shares for short anyways on this one, but you do got some pretty good levels here on your daily. Again, guys, this is a low flow stock sitting at 3.7 million shares float. So again, you want to be very careful with this one. All right, guys, that is what
Carlos?
we have. Yes, sir.
So we had a question over on YouTube. A couple of people were hoping you could answer, and I'll throw it to you because you're the levels guy that does the levels for the room in the morning. The question is this: when we do these pre-market levels, do we also take into account the after hours levels from yesterday? For instance, if you look at MU, because they had earnings last night, the pre-market high is less than the after hours high from yesterday. So how do you take that into account? Do you mark yesterday? What do you do there?
That's a great question. And MU is a perfect example of that. So if you look at MU now, right, and we kind of spoke a little bit about it, their after hours high is going to be right up here, right? It's 52.86. But now, if I was to pick between these two levels, the 52.36 is a more important level. Here's the reason why. Look how many times we tested this, right? So this one we had a nice little spike up, and obviously because the volume we were getting after hours, you're going to have that type of movement.
Sure.
But if you look at this 52.36, man, this thing was tested over and over and over again. And even after the volume died down, where you're not getting these crazy moves, this level is going to be more important. And then look what's happening now in the pre-market. You're testing that over and over again, right? So when you have a level that gets tested so many times, that's going to be a major level, more important than this one here, right? Now, if this thing breaks out of 52.36, then it can possibly easily get to 52.86. But here's the level I want to watch closely, which is going to be this one. So the answer is yes, you want to take that into account, but the major level is going to be this one here that has been tested so many times.
And the other thing I'll say to that pre-market high, look at that candle. And it could have been a block trade, it could have been anything. But whenever you have major news, earnings, or anything else that comes out after hours, there's not as much liquidity generally And it can happen so quickly from like no trades taking place to so many people placing orders and so much volume going through and so much liquidity that it can not obey levels that are significant. The same thing happens at the open because you've got people that have orders they've put in maybe last night to fill at the open or in the pre-market. So you might not mind the levels so much until that volume settles down just a tiny bit and it gives a chance for the chart to actually hit the levels and move on the levels.
Exactly. And this is what kind of happens here perfectly, what you explained, right? You see how it comes down, the volume comes down a bit, and now you see people respecting that level here. And this morning, right, they're respecting that level one more time here again. So again, I think that you said it perfectly there. You want to be careful with this type of stuff here. This is going to be a major level for this stock this morning. All right, guys, that is what we have. Let's take a look at what our moderators have this morning. Let's start with Peter. His main list, MUBA. Secondary list going to be AMD, BLNK, LQDA, and INO. Jared, he's watching oh no, that's a post there, that's different. Eamon, he's watching INO, WKHS, and INO again, so he definitely loves
he likes INO so much, it's on there twice.
He's going to have it on two different charts, one on the 5 minute, one on the 1 minute, and he's going to trade it twice from two different accounts. I mean, the guy is the man. Let's look at Norm. So Norm, you like INO this morning, you like MUBA, FSLY, AMD, Lulu, and SQ. Great list there. Andrew's watching CCL, American Airlines, INO, MU, WKHS, and Uber. Uber's a great one today, guys. Make sure you have that one on your list. And Jared's watching WFC due to some relative weakness in the financial sector, so that's nice. He's watching also Facebook, MU.
WFC is cutting their dividend as well because of those stress tests. They're going to cut their dividend, and the other banks have said they're holding theirs steady. So they don't know how much they're going to cut it by. I think it'll be announced at their earnings in mid-July.
Looking at their daily too, it looks really good for a possible drop here. I mean, they're stress testing that level right now, as you can see right here as support.
Yeah.
So definitely a good one to have as a possible here. I'm going to write this down, and Jerry, I'm sure will call us out. I'll call it out in the chat room if you see something great happen. We can tune in and see if we can take an opportunity there. With that said, guys, thank you so much for joining the pre-market show. We will see you again tomorrow at 8:30. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Take care and trade safe today.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. Thanks for joining us.